when you see that the majority of the people in these boats are children, babies, and women who have been... And when you see...
Do they think we're stupid?
And when you see that the majority of the people in these boats are children, babies, and women who have been...
Is he a bit insane? It was bad enough when Theresa May was in. Do you remember when they were bringing those children in that needed a shave? Sending them to school, saying they were 13 and 14. One woman sent me a picture and she said, look at this. She said, this is a lad from my daughter's school. And he looked like a bloke. Anyway, he was obviously a bit homesick, you know what I mean? Because he'd been showing her daughter pictures on his mobile from back home, his wife and child. And this bugger's in a school. That was when Theresa May was in power. So how long have we been shafted? I mean, can anyone really be that out of touch when he said they were mainly women and children and babies? No, they're 70% young men and 90% male. That's what's coming across in the boats. Day in, day out, nobody's stopping it. And they can stop it. That's the thing. There's legislation in place to stop it. They're not using it. Then you've got Mark Rutte. Remember him? He used to be the President or Prime Minister of Holland. He lost his seat. They didn't want him anymore. Remember all the farming protests through the summer where they were spraying excrement everywhere because the farmers had had enough because he was trying to dilapidate farming in Holland. Holland basically feeds Africa. It's unbelievable the amount of export in produce to Africa that Holland sends. And Rutte wants to stop farming. What is that going to do? Anyway, he lost his seat. So where is he now? He's the Secretary General of the NATO. That's where Mark Rutte is now. A horrible man. Never been married, has no children, but has the audacity to say, and it's in the Daily Mail, according to the Daily Mail, that British mothers better understand that their sons will have to die fighting for NATO. Wow. That's some statement, that, isn't it? He's got nothing to do with British politics. Nobody voted for him, and he's telling us that our sons have to die to save NATO. What is NATO but one of these NGOs? It was set up for good reasons, and it's ended up just being another one of these globalist enterprises that is designed to just rule the world as they see fit, cause wars, cause disruption, and tax us to death. They're behind it all. It's no longer the peacekeeping force, well, I don't see it as that it used to be. You can't have it as a project for good when you've got someone like Rutte at the top of it. You've only got to look at what happened with Christine Lagarde. She was the head of the IMF. During her tenure at the IMF, she was involved in a €400 million fraud. She didn't take the money, but she facilitated what went on. She was arrested and questioned. She was charged with the offence. She was taken to trial and found guilty. What happened after that? She didn't get any sentence because EU bankers are exempt from sentencing. Even if it was a more foul crime against children, she will be exempt from sentencing. Where did she go after that? Did she lose a job or she left the IMF? But where did she end up? Oh, that's right. She's the head of the European Central Bank. An even bigger job. Ursula von der Leyen. She crippled German defence. They didn't want her. They voted her out. Where is she now? Oh, that's right. She's the president of the European Union. And she's the one that said to Europeans they're going to enter the bank accounts so that they can give them some sort of bond in return, so that the savings that people have got, they can take and go and buy €800 million worth of weaponry. Looks like someone's gearing up for a war. So even if they don't get you in the tax system with all the fines and bollocks and the tariffs on your energy supply, because we're currently in Great Britain, we have the dearest energy in the world. Looks like they're going to nobble us with a war. And for Mark Rutte, someone in his position, to turn round, it's a Daily Mail article, Google it, to say that British mothers have to face the fact that their sons are going to have to die to save NATO. Can you believe we're living in these times? Do you know anybody yet that hasn't woken up to what's going on? I'm sure if you just talk to people, even if they've not got an active social media account, I'm sure more people are seeing what we're seeing, because I find it incredible, utterly incredible. I'm disappointed, I'm disillusioned. I'm not despondent though, because there is a way out for us. There's a way out. We've got a lot more pain to go. You know, America went through it with Joe Biden, and we'll have to go through it now. Obviously, the media will now focus on what's going on in Iran and Israel. I'm not getting involved in that because I don't want to. And I'm still concentrating on how we can change things here, because we have to concentrate on us, because nobody else is doing it. They'll just all focus on global stuff now. Keir Starmer. I mean, this man is an absolute bombhead. He's a nutcase. He's got a thing up today on Twitter supporting hydrogen for fuel. Let me tell you something. Lancashire County Council have a project whereby they're going to change a village, a quintessential English village with period properties, beautiful. It's called Chipping. Google it. They want the plan, because of the weather, is to change Chipping over to hydrogen power. Now, it's an unstable gas. I've spoken to a few experts, people who've worked on gas rigs, people who have been offshore divers, people who have worked with hydrogen, and they say it's an unstable gas, highly flammable and dangerous. And they've got to dig up the whole of the village, because the pipe work that takes gas, you know, mains gas to these houses, isn't robust enough to cope with the pressure that hydrogen has to be pumped through at. So they've got to dig the whole village up and change everything in your home to cope with the gas. I mean, this is what... in Lancashire, there's a place called Ribble Cement. They make cement. It's in Clitheroe. The council want Ribble Cement to go hydrogen powered. Now, you talk to a gas fitter or a heating engineer about the pressure that domestic gas comes through. It comes through at about 21 bar. That's the table that they use. I'll read you this. Hydrogen gas is typically supplied at 350 bar for buses and other heavy duty vehicles, and 700 bar for light duty vehicles. These high pressures allow for more hydrogen to be stored in a given volume. If for instance, Ribble Cement decided to go onto hydrogen vehicles, for the cement mixers. Clitheroe is in central Lancashire, and the nearest filling station is Wigan, which is 56 minutes or 35 miles away. How is that even practical? So basically a 60 mile trip 70 mile round trip to just fill the bloody thing up. I'm sure there's plumbers and heating engineers and people that you can talk to. Ask them what they think about hydrogen vehicles. I went to a seminar on it with the environment officer from Lancashire County Council, who's all up for it because he's part of the people that have been advising Chipping to change. But now Lancashire County Council is run by Reform, so I'm very interested to see if this ethos changes. The thing is, they've already done it now, haven't they? They've obviously talked to the parish council and the village and talked them into it. So how do you talk them out of it when you've put the fear of God in them that this has to be done because otherwise we're all going to melt? I just think that the world has gone absolutely bonkers. Completely the wrong people are in charge. Completely wrong. Unsuitable. It doesn't matter whether you think they're evil, they're stupid. They're unsuitable. And we've got to try and change it. And I can only think of one way, which is why I blog, to awaken people, and it's why I go on about voting for Reform. They're the only one with any infrastructure. There are currently 15 right-wing parties. 15. And there's another one due to be set up by Ben. That'll make it 16. That means that's going to split the vote when you go to an election. And none of them have any infrastructure. Not one of them have got a seat in Parliament. Not many of them have council seats. In fact, I think Heritage might have David Curtin, the leader of Heritage, as a he's on that London thing. I think they've got about 8 councillors across the country, and they were founded in 2000. David Curtin's on that London Assembly, so he gets quite a bit of publicity and he gets on GB News. Very nice fella, actually. But it's been going since 2000 and they've got 8 councillors and him on the London Assembly. That's how hard it is to get a party going. That's how hard it is to break through, because most people have never heard of the Heritage Party. You'd have to be online and keeping abreast of things. People out there won't have a clue. They don't have a clue who half the people are we talk about. So that's just proof how difficult it is to get a party going. And when you think with Nigel Farage's return to reform, they've got 5 seats, well 6 in effect, because one's walked away, but that's different. That's a choice thing. They managed to get 6 people for their party in Parliament, and 677 councillors. 1 or 2 have had to step down. One was a bloody idiot because she actually put online that she was going to walk away to Ben's party when he sets it up. When you've just stood with a reform Rosetta, what does that say about your ethics? It just says to me, well, why did you stand? Anyway, she's been stood down. 1 or 2 have been stood down because they actually worked within the council. They didn't realise, just academic reasons. But when you think how long, Nigel Farage has been around 30 years. This is the first real progress he's ever made as far as gaining seats and control is concerned. He's been very influential in politics. I mean, obviously, but it's the first time he's made any real inroads. That's how long it takes. So this is why I don't think we've got time to hang about waiting for other people to tool up and get ready and say, right, here we are, we're the XYZ party and we're going to do it. Because you've got to convince that lot out there. You've got to tell that lot that aren't taking any notice, the apathetic, the ones that put us here, that don't take any notice of politics. They're the ones that need convincing. And all that will happen come to an election is they've all gone back to getting on with their lives, which is perfectly normal. And then come a general election, if we're lucky enough to get one, if they haven't come up with some trumped up bloody war before then they'll just go out and they'll vote for something they know. They'll vote for something they recognise. And there's only one face they recognise. They're not going to vote for Starmer. They're not going to vote for Tories. They're going to vote for Nigel Farage. It's that simple. The red wall is being built right now. People tell me in my messages that have the guts to say, well, actually, I voted Labour because they wanted a protest vote, or they went back to the party they thought they could trust. Because don't forget, Keir Starmer did lie a lot. He lied before the election. He said he'd help pensioners. He said so many things. Just barefaced lying. He'd no intention of doing anything. There's loads of clips of him. You can't get out of that one.